today on TD Jakes.
We are talking to Grammy-nominated singer and actress Angie Stone, who is here today to rekindle her relationship with her daughter Diamond after an altercation that made headlines.
The only time I get to express myself is once I'm angry.
But Diamond, I'm your mother, and
what does that
sometimes-
mean?
Tell me.
Stop it, chill out. This is your mama. Your tongue you got from her. You walk alike, you look alike, you stand alike. She is you. If you don't figure her out, you'll never figure you out. Today, we are going to have a conversation. He has disappeared. You can stop this. Are you sorry? I'll tell you one thing. It's worth fighting. Look at that. Look at that. Look at who's cheering for you. The village is with you. Woo-hoo. Woo. Mothers of daughters dream that their little girls will grow up to be cherished friends. But sometimes things don't go as planned. As daughters grow, they become independent and seek their own path in life, and sometimes those journeys bring anger and resentment toward the very women who brought them into the world. Feelings that can be difficult to reconcile. That's the case with our guest today. Angie Stone is an American soul singer, songwriter, record producer, and actress who has been nominated for 3 Grammy Awards. But these days, the R&B diva is getting more attention for an altercation she had with her daughter, Diamond. The case is still in litigation, but Angie has come here today to try to repair the relationship with her daughter. This is the first time they have spoken publicly since the altercation that tore them apart. Please welcome Angie Stone. Angie, you and your daughter have had a rift that you're trying to heal. Arguments made the news. Describe your relationship with her.
My daughter and I are one and the same. However, being a young mother caused me a lot of distance at times, and somewhere along the line, I think I missed some things that I'm not sure of, because first of all, being an only child and the sole provider that takes care of my entire family, I never have time to really stop and breathe, stop and live. I feel like I'm just existing for my family's purpose. I feel like that goes so unappreciated. So my daughter and I have somewhat of distance, because I feel like when I was 22 years old and I gave birth to my daughter, I just didn't give birth to my daughter. I had to grow up along the way by myself with no siblings to help me, with parents that only made it to the 9th grade. I feel like somewhere along the way, if I had known better, could have done better.
Sure. Let's go back. April the 6th, 1984. You birthed into this world a brand new baby girl.
Beautiful.
Beautiful baby girl.
The most beautiful, precious baby, even until today.
I want to know, when they laid her in your arms, how did you feel?
When I first saw her, she reminded me of her grandmother. And her grandmother was not that fond of me at the time. And I said, oh, God, she just gave me a grandmother's face. So when she looked at me, she did this thing like, and I was like, oh, you know.
Right.
But
how was your relationship with your mother?
superb. I've always had an outstanding relationship with my mother and my father.
Assuming then that if you had a great relationship with your mother and you've now birthed a daughter, you know, my sister went through this, she birthed a daughter, and you have an idea of what that relationship ought to be.
Of course.
Fast forward from the You know, the barrettes and the ribbons and the Easter dresses and the frocks and the frills and all of that. The first altercation, the first sign that this wasn't going the way you thought it was going to go.
And fast forwarding past the sacrifices that I had to make in walking away from my, toddler to pursue my career, to pay my mother's bills, pay my bills, put her through school. It's hard to just zoom ahead because a lot of the sacrifices that I made, I did them for the love of my daughter. I was living in New York where crack was just coming out. I was exposed to a lot, and so was she. And rather than have my daughter hurt or destroyed by drugs, my parents asked me to let them help me. It allowed me a time to pursue my career and my mother and father to help me raise my daughter.
Angie Stone is a very respected, revered R&B artist with the kind of career that would make anybody proud to look back on, and yet she says she cries when she's alone.
All the time.
Why, Angie?
Because I think that what people see and what they assume is not real. I cry because I've survived congestive heart failure. I had to face the world overweight because I had sarcoidosis. And I had to hide all these things to keep money coming in to take care of my family because I didn't have a diploma or any other education. I dodged all of that and I just kept touring, and I look in the mirror and I didn't like what I saw because here's a 117-pound young woman who is now 235 pounds because of an illness, but I can't let that stop me because my mom's raising my daughter, and if I don't keep working, we're in trouble.
Let me tell you what I'm hearing. When I bring up about your daughter and fast forward from the birth of your daughter to when the first altercation comes, you can't tell me about the altercation for defending why you weren't there. It makes me feel that there is a great deal of guilt and worry and pain around not having the ideal mother-daughter story from the very early ages. Am I hearing good?
You're hearing good, but
Let me
my
go a
guilt...
little step further, just
Okay.
step further. I want to unearth
Okay.
this. I hear you saying you're out there in a tough R&B world, and you were out there in the fast lane, and things were dangerous, and to protect your daughter, you sent her to your mother where she would be safe, but underneath it, I hear you explaining why you were not there.
Exactly.
Because it sounds like to me that you're really not talking to me.
Really?
You're really not talking to me. You're talking to the voice of the critics that preceded me. And I can understand, which means that you and I are here in a present day moment, but you're having a conversation with a lot of people that aren't sitting right here.
Right.
I'm not saying that's wrong.
Right.
But I want you to understand that you are in a no judgment zone. The purpose of the village being here and me being here is to see a family healed.
Gotcha. And that's
to see
what
a family
I want.
healed. I think I hear you say, beneath the words you say, I'm carrying everybody. I've got all kinds of weights and all kinds of expectations on me from my family, and I'm exhausted. I'm at my wit's end, and I am in pain not only from carrying everybody, but I'm also in pain because I do not feel appreciated. A black woman going into an industry where few women had gone, period, tough times, wild situations, criticized by the public,
Right.
attacked at home. How do you get it back? What does love coming back look like to you?
A family that not only appreciates me, but allows me to live in joy and not just be existing for their purpose.
We're going to meet one of those members of that family in just a few moments. Diamond is going to join us, and I'll get a chance to talk to her right after this.
Coming up next.
Do you think your mother's proud of you?
No. because she's Angie Stone and I'm nobody.
You know in your heart, I love you.
And later,
Not
See, you
us.
don't listen.
You don't
I'm your
either.
mother and you
But you
never
don't either.
listen.
Now, you know, if this is going on national TV, can you imagine what's going on in the house? Listen, friends, mothers and daughters share a bond like no other. But what happens when that bond is broken and the communication turns to utter chaos? We are back talking to Grammy-nominated singer and actress Angie Stone, who is here today to rekindle her relationship with her daughter Diamond after an altercation that made headlines. Angie, have you been able to have a one-on-one, sit-down talk with your daughter since all of this happened?
We have talked. I'm still trying to instill values that I think would make a difference in her life. I'm not sure if it's working because we have not had the opportunity to deal with all of the strain that's come about as a result of, you know, our last altercation.
By the way, this altercation is still in litigation, so there's some aspects of it we won't be able to go into it. But I'm not here to try the case. I'm here to mend the family. We want very much to get Diamond out here, and let's see what we can do with her. Please welcome Angie's daughter, Diamond. Diamond, would you daughter? Welcome. Welcome. Bless you. Have a seat. Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Want to be a help? Want to be positive? Sometimes in the process of being positive, you have to go through some painful places. But our ultimate goal is to heal, not to break. It's already broken. We're trying to fix it. Describe your relationship with your mother.
We have a very strained, awkward, confusing relationship
Why?
because she cannot accept anything that is unfavorable. It's hard to speak to a person or convey how you feel to a person who's used to having their way.
What primarily has got you seething inside, so much so that you're sitting here and you can't hardly look at her? And she's your mother.
Mostly because she doesn't behave as a mother should.
What does that mean?
Most children gravitate to their mother for love and affection and support and understanding. I don't get that from her.
You did you ever get it?
Not that I can remember. I feel that a lot of my efforts are overlooked because she's Angie Stone and I'm nobody.
So you kind of live in her shadow.
Always have.
Angie, when you hear that, is it possible that in the busyness of your life, you replaced things for you? Giving her stuff because you couldn't give her mama?
I do feel like I've given them stuff all the time, not just Diamond. Everybody gets stuff. There was a Christmas, everybody got more than 5 pieces of stuff. And I can remember being the only one not getting anything for Christmas. From my mother, from my children.
It's hard to give someone who has everything.
That's not true.
It is. I have
That's not
given
true.
a lot. I don't have the means to provide the things that she thinks she should have.
I get that, Diamond, but do you understand that it's not about a Gucci bag? It's that your daughter appreciated you. You could draw a picture. You could make her some cupcakes just to represent some attempt to love her. Deeper still, let me ask you this question. Did you feel funny to receive stuff and not give?
I've always gotten her stuff, you know, whether it's big, small. I don't know if she explained to you, but once I was maybe 11, and I brought her a bookmark. You remember the bookmark?
I tell everybody the story.
bookmark.
Everywhere I go, I say the most important life lesson comes from my daughter. She gave me a penny with a hole in it that it was a heart. And it says, Mom, don't be so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. And it was a penny, but I appreciate it and I never, ever forgot it. You walked out here in a beautiful dress, my beautiful daughter, that I love no matter what you may think. The things I want for you, only a mother could want. And sometimes, yes, we're gonna have run-ins, but you know deep down in your heart, I love you.
I never said that you didn't love me.
And there's nothing I wouldn't do to prove that to you. I think I've done it so much that I'm in a repetitive cycle and don't know how to stop trying to prove my love. And in doing that, I have enabled you. And at this point, those things don't mean anything.
When you hear that, how do you feel?
I feel as though she loves me, but I also feel as though it's a sympathy act at times. To say, I love you and buy you stuff does not equal what I actually need.
Which is?
I need time, I need communication, I need things that don't cost money. And every time you buy something, you use that as the denominating piece to say, well, I did this for you. And because I did this for you, you should appreciate me.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Diamond, has your mom helped you with your singing aspirations? Do you feel supported?
As far as my music, I don't feel as supported as I've seen her support others. She criticizes me and critiques me a lot harder than she would do anyone else.
Do you think your mother's proud of you?
No.
And that's important to you?
Yes.
So I wonder, in a way, if the anger that you're having is almost a tantrum to say, I'm over here, I want your attention, I'm trying to be like you, so I really do admire you, I want you to notice me. And I'm wondering, does that message get through to you?
Like any parent, we have high regards and expectations for our children. Yes, I have helped countless people. With regards to my
You missed the point.
children.
You're talking about performance. I'm telling you that she's trying to give you a message. My mother is a singer. I'm trying to be a singer.
Right.
In her own way, she's trying to say, I admire you. It's not really coaching she wants from you. You're her mother. She wants your attention. She
Right.
wants you to say, oh, I'm so proud of you. Listen at you. Am I right about it?
I'm sorry.
Listen,
I do that, and I make her sing for other people. The minute we get in a crowd of people, hey, everybody, listen at my daughter. I have given her the platform. And the bottom line is, just because you're Angie Stone's daughter and you can sing, you still have to let me know you want it, and not you're just waiting on me to give it to you. That's not working for us.
When we come back, we're going to go into this a little bit deeper. We are certainly not there yet, but I still believe we can get there. Stay tuned. We got work to do.
After the break,
I love my daughter. The spirit that dwells within her is what I hate.
What about the spirits in you?
You are both saying the same thing until you hear the other one say it, and then you go crazy.
next week on TD Jakes.
He walked through the door with an AK-47, and he was allowing us to know that we're all going to die today, including him.
We're meeting people whose stories are so shocking they made headlines. The only thing wrong with your marriage is the absence of your presence. If you love this joker right here, you better go get him, because he's in trouble.
I am 27, and I'm still a virgin. And it's like, you can't try this before you buy this.
Next week.
The word mother brings to mind nurturing and caring, but with even the best mothers and most perfect daughters, tempers sometimes flare and the fallout can be crazy. We are back talking with Angie Stone and her daughter Diamond, whose private disagreement went public after a 911 call that brought police officers on the scene. When we talk about family dynamics, there's something that I don't think either one of you see. I think you approach this process as who is right and who is wrong. And that's, you're never gonna get there like that. Because if you go about this from who is right and who is wrong, it's gonna put you in a contest and then you have to slug it out. Let me say that up to this point, I think you're both right. I think you're both absolutely right. There are things about being her that you don't see, and there are things about your daughter that you do not see because of the guilt you carry. You're so busy defending yourself that you can't hear her. The fact that you all end up in a knockdown, drag-out fight is totally unnecessary because I want you to understand one thing right off the top. You're fighting yourself. She is you. She is you. Your mother's temper is your temper. Your tongue you got from her. You walk alike, you look alike, you stand alike. She is you. If you don't figure her out, you'll never figure you out. I think that more than being busy, I get being busy, I think it is easier for you to give stuff than it is for you to give you.
It is. And I can tell you why.
I can tell you why.
Tell me why.
You don't feel valuable. You don't feel valuable, so you give them what you think is valuable, but what you don't seem to understand is she thinks that the most valuable thing is not your money, not your stuff. She's mad at you because she wants you. Do you understand that her not giving herself to you is not about you?
I understand that as well.
It's about her.
Right.
Okay?
And I can't make her see out of my eyes. I can't get through to her other than being angry.
I want to say that because of the anger that she feels, sometimes we don't have the words to express our true feelings, but to take the reproach of slandering me to get my attention, to take to social media or to take to television to try to get my attention is involving the world in our personal affairs as opposed to, us working them out. And what hurts the most is it is hard as a mother when a child slanders you and curses you like that. It's hard to know how to embrace that kind of hate and anger.
Do you use the B word to describe your mother? Have you cursed her like that?
Yes, and she's done the same to me. Anytime,
That's not true.
that is very true. Anytime we argue, she curses me, her mother curses me.
You curse your 71-year-old grandmother and me out. Okay?
And why?
My thing is,
but why?
Let me tell you something.
But why?
As a mother, if I'm not allowed to communicate with you as a mother and
the
daughter,
world that I cursed you out.
Diamond.
Tell them why. It's not.
So you don't listen.
You don't
I'm
either.
your mother, and
but
you never
don't either.
listen.
You don't listen either.
But Diamond, I'm your mother, and
And
sometimes
what does that mean?
You tell me.
But what I'm saying, what does that mean? If you're my mother and everything you say is supposed to go, then when do I get to express myself? The only time I get to express myself is once I'm angry. After I've been
angry right now.
I am angry right now, though.
But I'm not.
And the problem is, you never try to figure out where the anger is coming from.
Can I
You
say
only
this?
look at it as
I'm not angry at you.
You're angry because
not
I wasn't
angry at
there.
you.
You're angry because I didn't raise you.
Now,
You're
you
angry
know, if
because-
this is going on national TV, can you imagine what's going on in the house? Can you imagine?
I'm not angry at my daughter. I love my daughter. The flesh I love. The spirit that dwells within her is what I hate. And right now, the enemy is busy, and I recognize
You
the
saying the
enemy
spirits in me,
for
but what about the spirits in you?
We don't even have to go into a spiritual dimension.
I'm not.
Because this is a natural problem.
I'm not angry at my daughter is all I'm saying.
Yeah, when you start bringing in the spirit behind her, that takes it to another playing field.
I'm not saying you're evil,
you
Diamond.
feel like your mother doesn't get you.
No, she doesn't. And she doesn't try.
In spite of the fact that you feel that, and in spite of the fact you may even be right about that, just on the virtue of the fact that she is your mother, you ought to respect her.
Respect is a two-way street. She and I never had altercations as I was a child. You know what I mean? I'm 31 years old, and she will talk to me like I'm 5 in front of everybody.
If you're living in the house with me, and as a mother, I come to my daughter who has 2 small children and say, you can't live in filth. You've got to clean this place up. I'm dealing with you from the place.
Were you able to do the same
Can I
thing?
finish? I'm dealing with you from a place.
Were you able to do the same thing?
Now we got it. Hold up a minute.
See, what I'm saying to you is,
she's still angry with you. Let me tell it, because you all are going to fight. She is still angry with you about not being there for her when she was a child.
Right.
And she's saying you're telling her how to be a mother, and you weren't one. That's what she's saying.
But I am a mother. And guess what? Guess what? I was there. I might not have physically been there, but I was there in every other way that I could possibly be there
That's the
at the
story,
time.
baby
That's
doll.
true.
No, it's not. It's the story you have convinced yourself of. I understand you paid the bills. I understand you paid the rent. You, by your own admission, said I was not there. But
all
wait,
the time.
But this
all
is
the
the problem.
time.
Let me tell you something. You all came here today to fix this.
Right.
And in order to fix this, you can't give me this old sour milk and expect me to make cornbread out of it, okay? You're going to have to be willing to change, because what I do only works if you listen. And what I'm fighting against is both of you have such a deep story embedded in your head as to what happened that you can't hear anything else. You are both saying the same thing until you hear the other one say it, and then you go crazy. I'll be right back. I got some work to do. I'm gonna roll up my sleeve, see what happens. Stay tuned.
Coming up next.
You want your daughter back. You want your mother back. And if she dies and you don't get it, your pain is gonna be worse. We are back talking about difficult mother-daughter relationships. The scars from an unhappy childhood can run deep and tear a mother and daughter apart. We've been talking to R&B phenomenon Angie Stone and her lovely daughter Diamond, whose recent altercation made headline news. And our hope here is that we can bring peace. Here's what I need you to understand. I'm not on either side, because what I want is what both of you want. You want your daughter back. You want your mother back. It's not too late to have a real, meaningful, loving relationship with your mother as you raise kids, as you face obstacles, to be able to talk to her about it, for her to be your ally, your partner, your ride or die is sitting right over there, right over there. The problem here is that both of you have such bad language, and I'm not talking about cursing necessarily, but the thing that you are best at is either defending yourself or fighting. You know, she says she's your mother, and you say, what's that mean? It means a whole lot. It means a whole lot. You don't get to respond to your mother the way your mother responds to you, even if she is wrong, because she is your mother. She is your mother. You want to give her the same things you want from your children, which is there is a level of respect that goes along with this position. Absolutely. I realize she didn't do it the way you had in mind. I know that you want her back, but the approach you're taking isn't working. So you ought to at least try something else, because what you're doing isn't, being angry is not winning what you want from her. And if she dies and you don't get it, your pain is gonna be worse. It's gonna be worse. Angie, deep down, behind all of the pain and all of the anger and disappointment, feeling like you're unappreciated, don't you want your daughter back?
Of course.
Okay, tell her that. And tell her why you want her. Don't tell her what's wrong with her. Don't fix her. Don't train her. You haven't made enough deposits to get the withdrawal you're trying to get. You've given her things you got love for, but there's a deficit in the deposits that she doesn't respect you enough for you to reprimand her on the level that you should be able to do now. And you gotta make some payments up, and which looks like weakness, but it isn't weakness, it's strategy, girl. You said you fear losing the relationship with your daughter. Tell her why you want her back in your life. And before you talk, I want you both to understand, you all are much better at fighting than you are at loving. Neither one of you have good skills for love. Just tell her why you love her, because she doesn't feel valuable, just like you. Fix her. Help me fix her. Come on. Let's go.
Diamond, I love you because you're my daughter. God gave you to me. And I know I have done some things, made some decisions and choices that may not have been mature enough to be the mom that you needed at the time. But I was immature, I was young, and I can't undo that which has been done. And maybe I'm trying to fix it by giving you things because I don't know how to reach you. But I need you because you have to carry on in place of me.
Come on, let it out. Let it out. Come on all the way with it.
You got a brother, you got 2 beautiful children, and you're intelligent. You're everything that I couldn't be. You went to college. I didn't. I gave up all of that. And I worked my butt off for 35 years just so you could take over. You can sing like a bird. You sing way better than me, and I've always told you that. But I want you to want that as well for yourself and not wait for me to give it to you, because I need you to help me now. I'm tired. I want you to be able to say, you know what? I got you, Mama. You done did enough.
Thank you very much, Angie. Diamond, when we come back, it's your turn. See you in a minute.
Coming up later.
You need to regain your respect for your mother in spite of your pain. You know why? Your kids are watching you, baby. Your kids are watching you.
Next week on TD Jakes.
He walked through the door with an AK-47, and he was allowing us to know that we're all going to die today, including him.
We're meeting people whose stories are so shocking they made headlines. The only thing wrong with your marriage is the absence of your presence. If you love this joker right here, you better go get him, because he's in trouble.
I am 27, and I'm still a virgin. And it's like, you can't try this before you buy this.
Next week.
Mothers and daughters share a bond like no other, but sometimes tempers flare and the fallout can be difficult to reconcile. We are back talking with Angie Stone and her daughter Diamond, whose private disagreement that went public made headlines. Diamond, I'm gonna put it on you a little bit. I want to hear you be the little girl that she misses. Not the angry woman who's sitting over there whose body language is just prop in case you're gonna pull a switchblade out of your foot. Stop it. Chill out. This is your mama. Tell your mama what you love about her, what you miss about her, what you need from her, without the fight, without the defense. Just talk to her out of your heart.
All I want you to know is that I love you from here to the end of the earth. And I always have. I have your back, even when it seems like I don't. I won't let anybody do anything to you, and you know that without a shadow of a doubt. But I need for you to look past the anger that you see. I need for you to understand that I have feelings too. And it hurts just as much when they stepped on and overlooked, like they don't matter or they don't exist.
We're getting there. It's okay. It's okay. We're getting there. We're getting there.
I feel like nothing I do is good enough. No matter.
Everything you do is good.
I feel like every little step I take, I don't get any praise for anything. It's always negative, and it's always, you need to do this, you need to do that, instead of seeing the effort that I'm putting forth towards that. I understand your standpoint on the music and everything. I don't want you to think that I'm not listening, but sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
I want to share something with you. We're making progress. You see what happens when we bring the walls down and let the hearts talk? I want you to understand something. I live in the world you live in. I live with a suitcase hanging out of my arm. I raised 5 children. I do get it. You come in, you're tired, you just got off the road, you say, how you doing? If they don't bring up nothing quick, you go to bed. Kids take more time than that. I didn't know that either. Time to children says, you matter. You matter. She's having a love-hate relationship with your career. She loves it enough that she wants to be it, but she hates it because it took her place. Okay? You do have to be the more adult person here. You can't come down and fight her. She's your daughter. You can't come up and cuss her. She's your mother. I'm gonna deal with this some more. You stay tuned. We're gonna get this straightened out. Come back in just a moment. We're back. We've been talking about mother and daughter bonds that have been tested. Angie Stone and her daughter Diamond's relationship has been the talk of social media after a private fallout they had became public. Angie, we're working on something. Diamond, stay with me, okay? I'm good at this. Good at it. I've done this before, okay? What you have to understand is both of you have to learn another language. You've had to be tough. You've been out there. It's rough out there. It's rough in business. It was rough in hip hop. It's rough in R&B.
Oh, yeah.
It's rough being a public figure. But this isn't roughness. So it's difficult to take off your war clothes when you come home and put on your mama hat, because ain't nobody nurturing you, okay? Ain't nobody nurturing you.
Nobody.
So you'll take, if you're not careful, your work skills home. Mm-hmm. You're using the voice that tormented you to train her, okay? I'm not enough, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And you call yourself getting her ready for how tough it is out there, but it's the wrong time. She needs to have a moment with you. You need to regain your respect for your mother in spite of your pain. You're wanting her to look through and see your heart. You want her to look through and see your heart. Make it a little easier to see. Make it a little easier to see. I'm trying to give you a full range of emotions and tools other than fight. Both of you know how to fight. I bet you can argue down the wall. And if I jumped up and slapped you right now, she'd dive on my back and scratch my bald head off. You understand what I'm saying? So she does love you and vice versa.
She loves
and I
me.
know you do. I want to create a nurturing moment that begins to heal. Your skills need to be built back. It won't stop today. This is just step number one. But we're starting to learn another language. What's going to happen? When your emotions come and say, who the hell do you think you're going to have to swallow them down and say, Mama, you don't understand what I'm going through. Or walk away or send her a note. You got to give her her respect back. You know why? Your kids are watching you, baby. Your kids are watching you. Your kids are watching you. There is no reason for this family to fall apart because there's love here. And as long as there is love here, we got a bridge for healing, okay? It's gonna take some time, but we're gonna do it. Whatever's right with her and whatever's wrong with her, she is your daughter.
Absolutely.
When God gave her to you, she was a blank sheet of paper. Everything that's been written on her has happened since birth, okay? Either by what you wrote, what you didn't write, what other people wrote, what they didn't write, all of that has helped to make her who she is.
Bishop Jakes, let me tell you this, because you're right on it, and Diamond can attest to this. I spoke to Diamond maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, and I said these words. I said, listen, you are my daughter, and I'm tired of hearing what everybody else is saying. I am going to help you. You and I have to come together and work this thing out. Let us call each other every morning. Did I not? And pray together before we start our day. Did I not tell you that?
How do you feel about that?
I would like to see it happen because that's not the first time we've tried.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand she's tired if she's been out working or whatever, but they expect me to make those sacrifices with my children. So I would like for her to do the same with me.
I'm not worried about, will Angie do it? Maybe I should be, but I'm not. I'm worried if you can let go of the anger, because I see the little girl in you is the one that's mad. The woman in her won't allow her to be vulnerable enough to get it. So your grown woman is fighting your little girl from getting to your mama because your grown woman don't trust your mama to respond the way you need her to respond. But we're gonna do a little trust to that. I know I'm dead on it. I know I'm hitting down in that heart. I'm supposed to hit down in that heart because you all are gonna be bonded at the heart. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a voice here except love. Anger, frustration, disappointment, they're all talking real loud, but love is screaming, give me the mic. And it wants to speak like this. I want you to get up off your hind parts and go and get your daughter and take her in your arms and love her like a mama. Just hold her, and don't let go. We'll be right back after this.
Tomorrow on TD Jakes.
I have to find a way to go get heroin.
We're going to talk about how addiction can destroy families. No, you have that.
I know I'm slowly killing myself, but that's kind of the point.
I thought it was a television show. It's not. This is an ambulance. If you don't confront this thing right now, you're not gonna make it.
And later,
do you have a sex addiction?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you know how hard it is to lay in the bed at night and wonder if you're really at work or you with somebody else?
When you lose somebody you really love, it is a horrible feeling. The reason you need so much sex is because you have no intimacy. You're about to lose everything, man.
tomorrow.
We are back here. We are working on this family. I'm working on my family. Truth of the matter, everybody's working on their family. That's a project. Am I right? That's a real project. I want to give you 3 steps that will help you in the healing process between you and your daughter so that you can have the restoration and yokes can be broken in your life. It's really easy. It's not rocket science. You can do this. The first thing is to acknowledge the other person's pain. Just acknowledge it. Don't defend yourself. Just acknowledge that their pain is real. If it's real to them, it's real. Step into that pain and feel it with them so that they are not alone, because lonely people get angry. Number 2, apologize for your part in it. Don't defend it. Don't excuse it. Apologize for it. Number 3, be consistently connected to what happened. Live in the moment, not in the past, not in the future. Step into the moment even when the moment is ugly, because you know what? They want you there. Good or bad, right or wrong, they want you present in the moment. You can be physically present, but still emotionally abandon them. This is emotional abandonment being restored on both sides. I love you. I'm out of time. I gotta go. But keep that love thing going. You hear me?